What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. It is 10:05 a.m. and as you guys know, we skip the first 30 minutes usually, and we trade the 10 to 12. That's where our back testing shows that we have the best edge. So let's get started here. I want to talk about a couple things, guys. So a couple new things here on the charts. You're going to see a bunch of bubbles here. I'm basically using the bubbles to show me volume. So when I see a lot of volume, a lot of buyers hitting the bid here, I can tell that if we get an SMT and some sort of reversal with a bunch of strong buying that we did not have, that most likely those buyers just got absorbed and the sellers are now in control, right? So that's what you see here. And exactly here as well. You see the selling pressure is basically super strong. And then as we get to the bottom of this area here, you could see that buyers kind of get back in control. And you would expect this. We have a 4-hour gap here as well as a point of control for yesterday's session. So out of all of the trading from this range here that we've been sitting in, as you can see right here, this range that we've been sitting in, this right here, the 25 110s is the point of control, which is the area where most the transactions have taken place, right? So we'll pull right back into point of control here. And we are pretty much chopping around here. It is a no news Monday today, so we do have to be a little careful as to our trading here. But so far, took some trades last night, up about $2,600 here on one of the accounts, actually. So that's a pretty good situation. And right now, guys, we are entering a 15-minute gap here that technically should hold price, but not 100% sure if it will. So we're going to have to watch here. On the right-hand side, guys, I have a 15-minute chart. On the left-hand side, we have a 1-minute chart. Like always, we trade both charts here. We use both charts to trade. By the way, guys, if you're just tuning in, thumbs up would be amazing. I would appreciate that. Thumbs up helps us grow. And as you guys all know, I'm pretty new to YouTube here, only a few weeks of streaming. Yeah, all the help I can get to grow this thing would be amazing. So right now we're just hanging out here, guys. Not much going on. Okay, guys, we have a new SMT here at that 15-minute gap. Bearish 15-minute gap, by the way. What does that mean? That means that ES took this, the NQ took this high and ES did not, which gives us that smart money concept of potentially we could see lower prices here. Which kind of makes sense, right? I mean, this wick did just touch the bottom of this area here, which was support, obviously. You have two support areas here, and now we have a resistance happening in this area, which makes sense. You also have a pretty massive seller in this area. As you can see here, price did come down into this range here, chopped around or accumulated, and then when it's not able to get back above, and that's where you have a lot of sellers sitting. So makes sense that we have a lot of selling pressure coming from this area. So far, nothing that I'd love to take yet. I'm kind of just watching price to see if we can get an opportunity here. It's kind of hard for me to sell into an hourly, a 4-hour, a 15-minute bullish gap, right? Lots of bullish structure here at the lows. So kind of hard for me to sell it here. And there were buyers here earlier. Let's see if they have what it takes to step back in here. Damn, look at all that buying here, guys. It got absorbed by sellers. Pretty wild. I do love the order flow that I've added to my ICT charts. Should probably put in the title, we're ICT order flow traders. Okay, buyers are holding this price here. All right, guys, I got to log into my broker here, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Kind of like this trade here. Buyers are holding though, so makes it a little harder to want to take it. It was a point of control bounce. If we take it, this is the best situation here. We do have that 10-hour low down there. Not against a short, guys. I just want it to be up here if I can get into it. We know there are sellers right above this area. They've been appearing every time we get up here. There are buyers holding the line, as you can see here. A lot of buying happening here in this area so far. We took our previous day high there. I feel like I have to try a short here after previously how I got taken. See if you get filled. It's a really, really good deal if you get filled in this trade. I'll be open to it. All right, we're in this trade, guys. See if we can deliver to back down into point of control here at 25,116. I'll take this trade all day long. This is a really good risk reward here. You're risking about $200 to make 800, so we're looking at a 4R trade potentially. We will see what happens if we get back down to these lows here. We will look to see if maybe we go break even or take the trade off. We are now fucking short. We also have another SMT here at the highs, so let's see if we can deliver this to the downside here. That would be a beautiful trade. Already up 1 hour or half an hour here. You also have this 4-hour OB here. A lot of reasons why this short makes sense. 4-hour OR block. Buy side was already taken there. Only thing I don't love is that we are holding this lower area pretty nicely here. But even if we're just ranging back and forth right now, this could still be a really good trade to the downside. I want to see what happens when we get to this area here. If we can't get below that, I may just go break even, because I think if we can't get below this, we do see these highs here as there's buyers sitting in that area there. So we'll see what happens here. But pretty important area here for price to reject. It's been a great entry so far. We haven't really taken any drawdown, really. We've been up the entire time on this trade. I just don't love to see us holding this area. That makes me a little worried. But we'll see what happens here, guys. We are above this 4-hour selling. That's a good entry here. A lot of selling pressure right here. Look at that hourly. Look at that hour. Oof, we're getting a lot of buyers though as well, kind of holding this price. There's a tug of war here happening at the highs. The longer this takes to happen to the downside, the more I don't want to be in the trade, sadly. Got to have confidence, got to believe in the trade. Let's see what happens here. Again, I want to see us back below this area here. That would be ideal for this trade. Gonna go soon break even here. All right, we have a 1-to-1 there, guys. It's a 1-to-1 R here. Price really should not revisit this high. If we want to see lower now, we need to just come down here. Should be no reason to come and retest this again. This candle already took previous high here, so we really should just start to sell off here on this trade. So we revisit these highs again. I just don't want to be in the trade anymore. And I'm happy getting out. Again, I want to see what happens here. If buyers hold this, then we obviously do not want to be in this trade. Looks like they are holding this area. Yep. Okay, cool. We're out for a little bit of profit. Nothing crazy. We made 10 bucks there, guys. That was a really good read on the market, honestly. Really good read. Got out right when it counted. Look at that, guys. Beautiful read on the market there using order flow. That feels good. That feels very, very good to have not been in that as it pushed against us there. Look at that. Beautiful read. Wow. Great reason to go break even here. I was just seeing a lot of... So we had massive selling pressure here, guys, as you can see. And we're just building all of this. All the buyers are stacking in on this move. So the more that we consolidate there, the more likely that this ends up going higher on us. Also, one thing to note is you can see that this was a pretty important area of resistance. And it's now becoming support here, right? So wasn't really sure if we can get below this area. There's a lot of buying up here, and we're not seeing us move forward, which is a little bit concerning for buyers. This is concerning for them. We didn't get the closure that I was looking for, but that's pretty concerning. So guys, it's hard for me to be bullish, especially up here when we've already taken previous day high and we're back below previous day high, right? I'm leaning towards the bearish side, but it is hard to be bearish too when we are holding a lot of this area here, this point of control here. I don't know. This kind of looks good, man. I'm going to try this, guys. We have an inversion here on the 1 minute, and we have a lot of buying pressure, and we're not moving higher. So we could just hit a wall here. Sellers could just be absorbing these buyers. So I'm going to try this and see. Again, I want to see if we can get below this area here. That's a key area to break through. So we'll see here as price moves into that area. But I liked, especially if you get a closure here, it's going to be a change in state here. We got an OB. Change in state. And you have a 1 minute inversion here at the highs. Looking good so far, but we do need to see a reject. We need to see us close below this gap here. This is pretty nice here, guys. Nice move here. So I am curious what the 1-to-1 is here. So 1-to-1 is this. We could bounce off this order block, so I have to be careful here. Seems to be exactly what we're doing. We're bouncing right off this order block here. Nice push here. Wish I was in fucking micros. I could take some off here because we are struggling a little bit here. We need to stay below this area here. We don't want to see us get back above those into those 60s. There we go. Nice push. Nice. Come on. Beautiful move here, guys. I'm going to take it off here for 200 bucks. We're kind of struggling in this area. I could see us pop back up and retest 167. So I'm going to take it off there. We just secured about $200 per account here. Nice little scalp. Don't understand why you're not showing yourself. There we go. So we got almost a 1R there, basically. But as you can see, we are holding here, and I wanted to see us sell through. We're kind of holding this area here, and I wanted to see us sell through there. We know that these sellers got absorbed, and we know that these buyers push price to this high. So we do know that this is a pretty important area right here between this and this. And it's kind of where we're hanging out, right? Do I think we sell through? I honestly think we do. But I'm happy securing some profits here. I didn't like my entry as much. I would have loved to be up in here for the entry. And I can still see us potentially retesting like this order block here. So that's why I took it off. But I do like this short. So if you're in the short, guys, I would suggest you guys can hold this until we take a low here. Yeah, beautiful trade here. Remember, guys, none of this is financial advice. This is all educational purposes only. Yeah, so I think we were in here. And currently we would be up about 380 on this. So I missed out on 180 bucks so far on this trade. Did anyone take this short with me? I'd love to know if you did. Let me know in the comments. This is a beautiful trade, guys. It's very simple to read the order flow here. I mean, if you start to see a nice push and you get to the highs and you get a green bubble, that should continue to push us higher, and we start to get back inside with some sort of inversion, which is a bearish PD array, you can tell buyers are getting absorbed and they're not able to push price into these highs here. So this is why I took this short, and as you can see here, no drawdown on this, which is very nice so far. This is that last line of defense here that you would see price kind of get bought up at, right? You got this little bubble here where we know buyers were at. That's the reason why we had that move. So they're just defending their position here. You know, the thing we have to ask ourselves is if price gets below this, okay, all these buyers have stop losses here. They're going to have to end up selling it, and they're going to have to end, and we're probably going to get that move back, that squeeze to the downside here based on that, right? So we'll see what happens. Kind of wish I was in this trade still. Kind of mad I took it off, but beggars can't be choosers. Or I don't know how choosers can't be beggars. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Guys, let me know if you took this short. Would love to know. Let me know in the Discord if you're in the Discord as well. All those sellers are piling into this. It's kind of funny. So we've seen a nice 20-point move from my entry here, guys. Actually, 30-point move from the entry. That's a really nice to see. Kind of want to hop in short, dude. I think it's going to continue to sell off. I'm in, guys. These buyers are not holding, and they're getting squeezed here. They're having to sell their position. Let's see if this moves lower here. Not usually how I would trade this. This is a breakout trade to the downside, but seeing that we have this selling pressure and that all of these buyers here that we're trying to get this leg to go higher here have to basically get stopped out here could potentially fuel a little move down, right? So we'll see if this works. Pretty much risking what I made on my last trade. At least that was the idea, right? These buyers get squeezed and we get a bit of a move to the downside, but I'm not seeing that squeeze, so I might be wrong. I might be wrong, guys. And it's okay if I am. Yeah, I mean, we're holding this area. We should have squeezed to the downside here. So if anything, I just got caught in the range. Sweep of the low, back into the range. Sweep of the high, back to the range. Very... what's it called? Search and destroy kind of price action right now. We'll see. Idea could play out here if we continue to push here. Here's a bit of a move. Let's see if we can get that full sell here to the downside. Might not get it. I am seeing sellers here, though, present in this move. I don't know if they're going to have what it takes to get us lower. They're trying. They're struggling here. I'm going to take it off, guys. 40 bucks there. I don't like the way that we're just holding these lows. Watch it go now. But Really, the reality is I should have just held my original trade from up here. But I don't really want to play around here. We have a lot of selling pressure and we're holding, which I don't want to see, especially if those buyers did get squeezed. This should have been a quick move to the downside. This should not be holding like nothing's happening. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother? We are 2 for 2 here, guys. Green. Two trades in a row. Green. We're up about $240 or $230 here on each account. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. You see what's happening here? So the idea is that these buyers got squeezed, but they're really just continuing to load the bid here. I would want to see this kind of move quickly to the downside if they do get squeezed, and I wasn't seeing that. This is a really good sign, though. If buyers are stepping in here and they cannot hold price back up, that means sellers are absorbing all of those buyers, and we're going to see a move continuation to this low here, most likely. Which makes sense, right? This is kind of the trade that I was looking for. And there it is. That's the trade I was looking for. Looks like we're going to push right into that low. It just took a lot longer than I would have expected. You know, one thing that's a telltale sign that this thing is weak is you have this massive amount of buying pressure here, right? And then price just closes below it on the higher time frame, so on the 15-minute, which means that these buyers got absorbed right here. All of that buying got absorbed by sellers, and now this new candle is going to try to deliver us lower here, which kind of makes sense, which is kind of the bias that I had, you know what I mean? Or the idea for the short. It's just taking way too long, and I don't want to be in a short at the bottom of a range that is taking 5 minutes to move, right? It makes it harder to hold that trade, in my opinion. Ryan, make sure you give a thumbs up here. Better not be hanging out with no thumbs up. Yep, there you go. Buyers are trying their hardest to hold this thing here. But yeah, this trade I originally put on, dude, that 160 short. Oof, very nice. That was a 40-point short, guys, using order flow. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So we're just ranging, guys. Currently ranging here. Really happy with the way I'm trading today, though. Really happy, dude. Getting into trades, getting into green, and looking at the order flow and understanding if we're holding or not, and taking risk off, and it's paying off. We're up very nicely. I would like a couple more trades, though. A couple really solid trades here. Again, as you guys can see on the higher time from the 15-minute, you do have these massive buyers that became absorbed by sellers. So there's massive selling here. Okay? Massive selling here. And it makes sense that they are pushing price back down. You see them right here. Yeah, there's just a ton of selling happening here. So if you get this closure, that's a breaker block. We did take this low though. Seven seconds here. Something like this could work out, guys. We have a breaker here to the downside. But I'm not going to touch it. I don't like taking these breakout trades to the downside or upside. That's usually what I try to avoid. But I think this has enough selling pressure to see these lows here. Could have got 15, 20 points maybe. See what happens here. There it goes. God, I'm fucking on point today, guys. I am seeing this clearly. Oh, guys, so yeah, sorry. I'll explain what indicator I'm using. So I'm using this thing called Delta Volume Bubbles on TradingView. Delta Volume Bubbles. And this is the inputs that I have. So I'm basically just using order flow and ICT together to take trades right now. And it's been working really well. I'm starting to really understand a lot by seeing this. So that range just got taken there. Buyers absorbed those sellers right there at that range. This is where you could take a buy, looking to take these highs here. We're going to try it, guys. And my stop is just below this set of buying pressure here. All right, because buyers just defended this low here. So if they're going to defend this, we don't want to see a move below where the buyers are. So we're going to see if we can get a push into these highs here, really. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of have these equal highs here on the 1 minute. So that's what I'm looking to trade to. It's kind of a 1-to-1. We take that high. This is very bullish here, guys. We just inverted this 1 minute as well. So you're using ICT as well as order flow here to take this trade. We do need price here to hold. Don't like the way this candle's printing. We needed price to hold that pretty badly there. So buyers have to hold this area here. We're going to buy one more here. We're going to get into two here. And we're going to put another sell stop here. You guys can see like all these sellers, right, tried to sell price and the lows got bought up quickly. So they have to buy their positions back. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a move of them buying their positions back. But this inversion gap here is a little bit sketchy. So I might sell one. Let's see. Nice push here. Okay, getting a little bit of rejection. So I'm out of one and I'm going to hold one here. Got a bit of a better entry now on my trade. So it looks like this now. So I like this trade here. It's a beautiful trade. See if we can get a push here. A little bit of a struggle here in this area. Can't get back above that gap. I'm out of this trade, guys. A push from the lows like this where sellers got absorbed should not be seeing this kind of hesitation here. And I'd rather just not participate if we can't get the move I'm looking to see. Up 266 per account here. For me, an entry here would be fucking godsend. Like, that would be amazing, because then we could try get those highs there for very low cost. So like 50% of that wick there would be an amazing trade. Right there. Something like that would be great. But yeah, look at them. They're pushing it without me. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. I personally can't stay in that trade because I don't have anything to hold for us to hold from, right? We don't have an order block or anything, sadly. Right, so basically, guys, we don't have a, it's like as far as ICT goes, we don't have a change of state of delivery. We have an inversion that got closed on, which makes this harder for me to take. And then also, we also don't have really an order block, right? So that's kind of what made me get out of the trade. Another thing is here on the higher time frame, the 5-minute and the 15-minute, not really seeing buyers stepping in here. We're seeing sellers, and they're probably getting absorbed here, so that makes me feel good about the trade, but still a little more risky. I think for me, a pullback into if we can get a push into here, that wick there, I kind of like that a lot. This entry here. I know there's a buyer there that's very strong. Kind of got a change in state here, slightly. Could see 151, guys, which is a bunch of sellers sitting in this area here. So we could see a push into those 151s here, taking these equal highs. There's the push. I guess my initial entry was good. Where was I initially long at? I think it was 27s. We're up about 20 points there. Anybody take this long? Even though I took it off, anybody take it? This is a beautiful long here. Damn, dude, I was in at a fucking beautiful place. I fucked up. I should not have taken that off. That's the thing about being a little stingy. I'm being a little stingy today, guys. I want the best entries possible. And I just felt like I could see a pullback into here. And then this. Like, I'm bullish here at the bottom of the range, but I really wanted to see us just take a little bit of liquidity from this wick. We didn't get that. Unfortunately. I think I was in here. Oh, I was looking for something like this. Unfortunate, guys. See what this move looks like. Not seeing any buyers really stepping in though on the order flow here. Like usually I want to buy this pullback here, but I'm not seeing the buying I want to see on the 5 minute. Right? Like I want to see bubbles like this to get to be like this big red one, this big green one. I'm not seeing anything here. So I don't have any confirmation that they're hitting the bid to hold this thing. The 15-minute candle has no upper wick though. Or sorry, 5-minute candle. Is that a 15-minute as well? No, it's not. It's just a 5-minute. 15-minute. So right now, this whole area here is what we're struggling to get through. This is an entire area of selling that we have not had any luck getting through. I'm going to make it red here, guys, so you guys can see it. So again, guys, very simple. Here on the 15-minute chart, you can see that this whole area that I'm marking with the blue lines here, that was a massive buying area, guys. That's where buyers were trying to defend, and they could not hold price up, right? Sellers absorbed all of that buying pressure. So of course, when we come and revisit this area, right, sellers should be present because they were able to absorb all of the buyers. So as you're seeing here, this is from those sellers putting a lot of pressure at this area here. Damn, C Cherry says, yeah, this is smart. I was thinking, yeah, this is very smart, guys. This is the smartest shit ever. Honestly, this works so well. Because ICT tells us where low volume nodes are, right? Those are fair value gaps. ICT tells us entry models. It tells us everything we need to know to trade. But the confirmation coming from the volume is probably one of the best things ever, right? I can really see on the higher time frame where that selling pressure is and where those buyers are and who's getting trapped. And I can use ICT to really take that to the next level. What's up, Perez? How you doing, brother? By the way, guys, remember, hit me with a thumbs up if you have a chance here. Helps the channel. I got to edit the stream title, though. ICT order flow. There we go. Updated the stream title. ICT order flow, baby. So if you get one more really good trade, maybe 2 more trades before the 12 o'clock. We have an hour here, hour more of the stream. Guys, by the way, I'll be back this afternoon. We're going to be doing a 1 p.m. stream as well. Cecharis. By the way, dude, am I saying your name right? Because I don't want to be butchering your name. I've been doing YouTube pretty often the last few weeks. I have a Discord, so I was streaming in the Discord a lot, and then decided to start streaming on YouTube. So now I'm here, guys. This week's gonna be pretty packed. We're gonna be doing the morning and afternoon streams and some Asia streams. Usually trading gold for Asia. So if you want to come and hang out, dude. How many funded am I trading currently? I'm trading 1, 2, 3, 4 funded accounts on this currently right now. So what you're seeing here as far as group, it's 4 accounts. And they're all 150K accounts, by the way. No Apex currently. I have traded Apex in the past though. I do like Apex. I only like them though if you're going to trade a lot of accounts. And I had a little situation that happened. I was trading Apex on their most recent 90% off, which was awesome. I love the 90% off. And I'm actually a partner with them, so I do recommend them, obviously. But I had like 5 funded accounts with them, and I had a situation where I took a trade and closed out for profit, but the other 4 accounts, for some reason, when I closed my trade on the other 4 accounts, I didn't close the trades. And so like a couple hours later, I come back to the computer and I'm still in a trade, and I was down $500 and blew the account because at some point I was up so much that counted as the trailing drawdown. So kind of got a little bit upset about that situation. The trade copier people actually gave me like a free year because of what happened. They actually kind of apologized to me about it because it was an error on the trade copier. So yeah, I'm not really trading Apex. I'm waiting for the 90% off, and then I'm going to go pretty heavy with them probably. Would like to get into like 10, 15, 20 accounts with them. That would be kind of the goal. But yeah, guys, not really sure what the hell's going on here. I mean, we have, again, this whole area of selling pressure that we can't really get above, and buyers seem to be trying, but they're honestly failing. I think at some point we get a pop here, but there's not much action here for me to get in on. This long I got at 126 was beautiful. We're up about 30 points in this move. And the short that I took here at 160, I think it was 161, moved all the way down to 114. That was a 50-point short. So can't be upset about today's trades. I didn't hold them for that long. I held them for like a 1R basically, which I'm kind of kicking myself for right now. But really good trading so far this morning. Now we just got to wait and see if we get any other opportunities here. I'm not seeing much though. I think it makes sense that we go and test this area here, which is not too far away, right? We're like maybe 12, 15 points away from that. We're starting to hold this kind of trend line here, this Tory trend line here. So it kind of makes sense to me. We also took the low of the range already. But again, I mean, I said this earlier today. We took out previous day high, guys, and we're below previous day high now. So I'm not super bullish. I'm actually more bearish because of that. We do have point of control here at 112. So we got to watch that. I want to see what point of control for this session is. So we are at point of control right now for the session, which makes sense, right? This is why we're just sitting here. This is where I said earlier, this is where all those sellers are, right? All those buyers were trying to hold price, and then all the sellers are. We're back at point of control, basically. So we'll see what happens here. Can I go over the indicators I use? Yeah, I got you. I'll go over it right now. All right, so most of the transactions have taken place during this session, have taken place here at 152. Obviously, we can tell, right? You can just look at the charts and you can see that we have a lot of transaction happening here at those 50s, 150s. Here's that push I was talking about to come and retest this area here. I'm just not super sold on this push higher. I like it from down here. I don't love it for a breakout, honestly. Just being completely honest with how I feel about price. But I'll go ahead and break down these indicators for you guys. So we're going to get rid of all of these real quick, and then I'll break them down. So right now I have volume profile on the charts. If you guys don't use volume profile, I definitely suggest it. It's really good if you're looking at a range. So for example, if you look at the charts here, let me just make this one chart for this. Yeah, there we go. So if you look at the charts here, guys, between Wednesday to now, we've basically created this range, right? We're basically at the highs, these lows, these highs again. We're back inside this range from this previous trading week, right? So since we're back inside last week's trading week, what I did is took this area here, which was the all-time high when we broke out, all the way up until now, and the area where we transacted the most, where the most buyers and sellers worked, was 25,111. Now, is it a coincidence that price has moved all the way down today's session to 25,111 and got bought right back into this new range immediately? It's not a coincidence, guys. That is exactly what happens when you have an area where a lot of buying and selling occurred, the most in that entire time period. And what did price do from this area? It went higher. So what is happening here is there are buyers willing to pay whatever it takes to keep price up in this area. So it makes sense as to why we had that reaction and why I ended up taking that long, right? If you look at it from the bubbles perspective, which I'm going to put on right here, okay, what you're going to see is pretty simple. You're going to see that this point of control right here, which we're just going to go ahead and mark this with a horizontal ray here. That point of control there, and we're going to type point of control. That point of control is right below the New York AM range low. And you see a ton of buying that's happening here, right? And you see a ton of selling here, right? And you see buying as well happening in this area. So what's happening here is these sellers are overpowering the buyers and they're getting price to come below that range. But what this helps you do as an ICT trader is once you get this inversion fair value gap, a lot of people are going to try to take this long and they're going to put a stop here, right? But what I can do is using this, the idea of volume, is see where buyers specifically jumped in, right? So we know buyers defended this area here. And obviously you have this wick. So I was looking for us to pull back into this area so that I could have a stop here with an entry here and look for that push, right? Obviously I never got that, so we didn't get filled. But my original entry was just going along here, and then I was looking for these highs. Now, I took off the trade when we had this inversion gap that got closed back under after we closed above it, right? Because that obviously shows, from an ICT perspective, that shows weakness. From a fundamental order flow perspective, it doesn't really show weakness. It just shows that there is a willingness of buyers and sellers to transact in this area, okay? So I shouldn't have taken the trade off. I should have held it. But as an ICT trader, I know what I want to see, and I didn't see what I wanted to see. So I took it off. I do regret it. Look at this move. A very beautiful move. And I should have known. I mean, look at this hold of that point of control. New York range low taken, and this fucking candle just got sucked right back into the range with a ton of buying pressure. Now, that's the delta volume bubbles. And basically what those bubbles are doing is, everybody here that knows about order flow is it's just telling me what the accumulative delta is on these moves, right? So if I see a massive move to the downside, right, and I see a ton of selling bubbles as we move lower, okay, and we get back above that selling, which let's say this here is the selling, right? Once we get above that selling, which happens here, you know, what happens? You get a squeeze to the upside because a lot of these sellers are having to cover their positions. So I'm just using order flow to be able to tell to just let me know what I'm seeing along with my ICT trading. Now let's cover the other indicators that I have. I also have, obviously we all know what a fair value gap is, so I'm not going to go over that. But the other indicator that I use a lot is ICT kill zones and pivots, which is, I'm going to turn off the other ones so we can see. And I'm going to get rid of this point of control right here real quick. So with the ICT kill zones, it's basically showing me what Asia and London did. And I can see that Asia accumulated, London manipulated Asia, okay? And then pretty much came all the way down and took out Asia low. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we don't necessarily need to trade back down into this area because there is nothing here as far as liquidity for us to take essentially, right? London already took Asia low and high, and we are trading above all of that. So we are very bullish as far as that goes, right? And that's what throws off the session for me is there's not really areas for us to target down here, but then we've also taken previous day high and came back inside the range. So a lot of contradicting theories here, right? So basically I have the concept that I want to go higher. I'm bullish because London already did a lot of the work for me, but I have New York session taking previous day high and closing back inside the range so far. So contradicting theories, right? I want to go up, but we've already gone up and came back in, and I don't really want to go down because we've already taken what's down. So what does that tell me? It tells me we're probably just going to range today. Maybe the afternoon opens up and we get some movements somewhere. But for now, we're kind of just going to sit here and accumulate and range, which makes sense, right? No news Monday. So it completely makes sense. So that's what I use ICT for, the ICT kill zones for. And then OCT stat map is a pretty cool indicator that I use. And what it does is it maps out the midnight open, which is right here. It maps out this midnight open, which tells me where price opened at midnight. And then all I'm looking for is, did we trade below midnight open, which we did here? And are we above it, right? Because what that tells me is, so far, if I'm looking at a daily candle, this is the daily wick. Anything below that New York open, midnight open, is a daily wick. And the daily candle looks something like this right now. So it's a bullish daily candle, right? So I just have a visual as to where price is on the daily, okay? So I use that midnight open for that, but also we have a couple things here that are really important. So we have, based on statistical data, I think it's around 600. Actually, I'll tell you what exactly it is. So based on the look back of 60 sessions, we're going to do 600 here, but based on the look back of 600 sessions, there we go. So yeah, 600, let's say 600 points, okay? So 600 points of data says that this here is your 1 day manipulation, okay? And this here is your 1 day, and this here is your 1 day distribution. So what does that mean, guys? That means that the manipulation and distribution are areas where price can move towards, okay? So if we see a push that pushes into this manipulation area, and I'm going to just zoom in a bit here for you guys. So if we see a push into that manipulation area, okay, which is right here, and if I go to a higher time frame, you'll see it a little better. So now it's here, right? If we see a push into the 1 day manipulation, and let's say it doesn't go up here, right? This is kind of a little too high. But let's say it only goes up. We're going to draw it like this, actually, so it makes a little more sense. Let's say we see a push from midnight open, okay? So from midnight, we get a push up into the daily manipulation. Let's say it goes above it, okay? And then we close back below or to it, let's say below it. All right, and in that move is a fair value gap. So let's say this is the bearish fair value gap here. So that's your inversion fair value gap here on this move. Then I'm going to have a higher probability that this manipulation that we tagged is the daily manipulation, and I can look to trade this all the way back down towards the opposite manipulation or opposite distribution, basically. So you can use it really, 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 really strongly to take trades. If we were not up here, if we currently weren't up here at the range above here, and we were opening, let's say New York opens and we come and test this manipulation range, and we start to get an inversion fair value gap somewhere around here, right? And I see order flow confirming that buyers are stepping in, then I know that most likely this is the manipulation leg for the daily candle and that we're going to trade higher, and I can hold this trade up into the previous daily, up into the next daily distribution, or the daily manipulation on the other side of it. So I'm just using statistical mapping probabilities to take these trades. Lovely, how you doing, brother? Welcome. I like the name. I like the Lovely. I love that. I always call everybody Love. I'm always like, hey, Love, what's up? Hey, what's going on, Love? Women, obviously. But yeah, so I like your name a lot. But yeah, so that's what that statistical mapping is, guys. That's how I use it. It's really accurate, really accurate. Today, it's a little bit all over the place, but normally it's super accurate. And you can use it to pretty much hold some pretty big trades. And then the last one I'm going to go over is the T-Trades model. What I like about T-Trades is they recently updated it, and so you do have SMT now. So I can pair the SMTs with my trades using order flow and ICT. So that's fucking awesome. But other than that, it shows you when you have a sweep of a higher time frame candle, and then it just aligns it with the lower time frame, right? So right here, you see that these are 15-minute candles on my chart, but I'm looking at a 1-minute chart. So what I can see here is that this 15-minute candle just swept previous 15-minute candle, and we now have you see this blue line here? We now have a 1-minute change in state of delivery, right? This candle closed bullish above the set of down candles, okay? So that is a bullish change in state of delivery to the upside. So what this tells me is that I could be right now witnessing candle 1, which is the previous candle low, candle 2 taking the previous candle low, which happens here at that New York range, and now candle 3, which is the new 15-minute that's going to open here. I think it just opened. Did it just open? We just got a new candle here. Candle 3 that just opened is going to basically take price higher. That's the idea, right? Candle 3 is your distribution candle. It is your continuation candle. It is the candle that should distribute in the direction of the sweep, in the opposite direction of the sweep, right? So here's your sweep, and now the next candle should continue higher. That's just the way that kind of concept works. Here, this is a 15-minute chart. So what you're going to see on the 15-minute chart is that these are 4-hour candles. So what you have is your 4-hour low being taken, okay, which even makes this long even better. You have a 4-hour low sweep after 10 a.m. You have that low being put in, which is the candle sweep. Now that 2 p.m. candle, if we close, let's say around here or even here, 2 p.m. should distribute us even higher for a breakout. So that's how you would trade the T-Trades model. If I go down to the 1 minute, you'll see the chart on the 1 minute, and you'll see the candles on the right be a 15-minute, because it basically is just going to add whatever candles correlate to that time frame that you're on. So the same thing happened here, right? So now we're just on a 15-minute to a 1 minute. So what you can see here is this 15-minute candle took this low, okay? So that swept the low there. So what happens is this next candle should distribute higher once it opens, right? So you get an open, low, high close, okay? And so you can use this with order flow, with ICT, to understand where price should deliver to, okay? And the key thing to look for is once an important area gets swept, like this low here, which is a part of that 15-minute closure as well after the sweep, and the new 15-minute candle is opening, you want to make sure that you have a change in state of delivery, right? So here's the 1 minute change. That little blue line, it marks it out with the indicator. So I know, okay, we have a change in state of delivery, we have a low that got swept, and a 15-minute candle just closed back inside the range. The next 15-minute candle should open, move lower, and close higher. So pretty simple when you break it down. But yeah, those are all the things I use to take trades. Eventually, I'll probably start to get rid of some of this stuff as I start to just use the certain things that I'm trading. But for now, this is how I'm trading, and it's been working for me. So getting payouts, can't complain. Life is pretty good. Have a Discord with over 200 members. So we're doing pretty good here. YouTube, I'm new to, so very small here on YouTube, but we're trying. Lovely says, how long have you been trading? I've been trading since 2020. He says, where are you from? I'm from Miami. My family is Cuban, and I am living currently for the last 10 years in New York. So I am trading from New York. So Cheris says it makes a better entry for sure because I've had an ICT model form and then it just failed. Yes, exactly. When ICT models form, you can't take all ICT models, right? A lot of times ICT models are going to fail. And that's why people don't believe in ICT, because a lot of times you could just pick a fair value gap or pick a change of state delivery and you can automatically lose on that trade, right? But if you can pair, point of control, which is this area here that I showed you. So you can find where the previous point of control was, right, for the session. And you have an ICT strategy, which is a 4-hour PO3 happening, right? So let's go ahead and show you guys how this 4-hour PO3 is playing out, okay? It's pretty cool. You ready? Okay. So you see this 4-hour candle here? That closed pretty much, it closed bullish. It had this low and it had this high, okay? This is a pretty important 4-hour candle because this 4-hour candle took the previous high and closed back inside the range, okay? So what you're looking for is 10 a.m. to give you a 4-hour PO3, okay? Which means the power of 3, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So what you're going to see here, guys, is that this New York range low is the previous 4-hour low. This 10 o'clock 4-hour candle comes down, takes out previous 4-hour low, okay? So right there is your PO3, all right? Now, if we go down to a 1 minute, you're going to see it perfectly. Look at what happens here, okay? We accumulate, and I'm going to draw this out for you. We accumulate right here, okay? That's your accumulation, okay? That's your accumulation. This push down, which takes out that previous 4-hour, what does it do? Well, it manipulates, but not only does it manipulates into a 4-hour bullish gap. This is where you're going to find the highest win rate if you can find a PO3 that manipulates into a higher time frame gap. Okay, so as an ICT trader, you're looking for that 4-hour gap to hold price, right? But forget about just holding price. When you look at that 4-hour gap and it's part of the manipulation of a 4-hour candle that takes a previous 4-hour low, tapping into that 4-hour gap, what's going to happen? You're going to get a distribution higher. So here is your manipulation. We're going to make this yellow, okay? And now this is your distribution. And we're going to make this blue. So you guys see this, guys? This is exactly what you want to see on a PO3, a 4-hour PO3. This is the cleanest 4-hour PO3 that you could look for. It is a accumulation period followed by a manipulation after 10 a.m., right? So this manipulation happens at 10:42 into taking previous 4-hour low, but after it takes the 4-hour low, it needs to tap into some sort of PD array, right? Which is going to be your 4-hour gap here. So you have your 4-hour gap that holds price. So here's it's just fucking beautiful. And there's nothing really that I can say about this. This is a beautiful trade, right? And I got long at the 26s. Now, the reason why I took my long off and didn't hold this, and I'm not sitting here in a long, is because I know buyers stepped into this right here, right? I can use order flow to see where they started to hit the bid pretty hardcore. So what I was looking for was a push to this area, right? To this area to get long with a stop at the low and a move higher. Okay, and now why was I looking for such a perfect situation? And I'll be honest with you guys, okay? In any other scenario, if we hadn't already taken previous day high, which we do right here, if this previous day high was not taken before this 4-hour manipulation, I would have held the trade from my entry at 126 and I would be in this long all day, or as long as it tells me to hold until I start to see some sort of price breaking down against me, right? But I would have done that. Because we took previous day high already, I'm going to be extremely defensive on how I am offensive, right? I'm not just going to take a trade, put a stop, and hold it. I'm going to still be very defensive because previous day high has already been taken, which is a goal for anyone who's long. If you're long, your goal is previous day high. That's like a fucking beautiful target, right? If that target's already gone, then I'm going to be more cautious as to how I take this long. It's not that I don't believe that this long holds, because I do. It's just that I want the best freaking entry for that long. And what is that entry going to be? It's going to be entering on the wick. Right? You pull down right to this wick area where I know buyers are sitting, and then we take it long all the way back up, right? So now I have a really good entry. I have a I've got a long that looks like this, guys. I'd have a long that looks literally like this. Something like that. A 5R trade, because I'm being patient and I'm trading offensively but very defensively, right? So that right there would be a beautiful trade. And one more thing that I want to let you guys on is when you're using order flow, you don't need to give a trade that much room, right? You don't even have to put that at the low. You could literally put it like here maybe, right? That becomes like a 9R trade. And why does that mean? Well, why do I mean by that? Well, pretty simple. If this is an area, if this is the area of buyers, okay, strong buyers that absorbed all that selling pressure, then I don't really want to see price trading below this area, right? I want to see buyers that are defending a 4-hour low, defending a 4-hour gap, defending a manipulation of a 4-hour PO3. I want to see them stepping in right where they got in because they don't want to see drawdown. So they're going to defend this, and price should go completely higher, which is what I was hoping was going to do. We just didn't get that move. But this right here makes it so that I could take a trade that looks like this. I could take a trade now that gets me in at the top of this bubble, right? And I don't even need to put my stop at this low. I could do something like this, creating a much better risk to reward, right? I would be risking a 9 points, guys, 9 points, and we would be up currently 60 points on this trade, right? With zero drawdown. Now, some people just took this long. Some people took this long. They saw us tap this 4-hour and they saw the reaction. They're just in long right here, right? Because that's a turtle soup essentially. So some people are just long right there. But if you're looking for like confirmation, stuff like that, then I would have waited for that retest, and I would want to see buyers hold, right? And I would be okay losing this trade because if I'm wrong, I don't want to be long. I want to be looking for shorts, right? Because if I'm wrong, price is going down. So it's that simple. You guys still there? Does this all make sense to you guys? Let me know, guys, if I make sense or if I sound crazy. So again, guys, we're seeing a lot of selling, a lot of buyers trying to take this breakout. And this is what people get squeezed here, right? These buyers trying to get this push to the upside just got squeezed to the downside here. So they're having to sell back. They're having to sell those orders, which is why you get a nice quick move to the downside like that. That's why you should never be buying a breakout, because most of the time, if you buy a breakout, you're going to get squeezed right back in. Charis is pretty new, so it looks like you're pretty new to ICT, man. Well, welcome to the ICT world. I know ICT from the back of my hands with my eyes closed. I can tell you everything about ICT. And this is what has started to work for me, right? The most, just trading this way. So now we have a range, guys. We have this range high here, and we have this range low. Very rangy, very rangy. We have 30 minutes here on the live stream before we cut the trades and come back in the afternoon. Cheris says, I have to start with paper because I know for a fact I'm too focused on getting a payout. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, you have to, if you want to get consistent payouts and you want to be successful, you have to forget about the money and you have to just take good trades. The money comes, right? It's just a byproduct of taking good trades, essentially. Lovely says, please share the order flow indicator. Yeah, I got you, Lovely. No worries. It's called Delta Volume Bubbles. And this is what the settings are. By the way, guys, I have a Discord, and you can join for free if you guys want to hang out in the community. There is a paid membership for people who want to be part of the VIP focus groups that I do and the backtesting sessions that I do, but you do not need to pay for anything. You could just join for free if you'd like. If eventually you ever want to join as a VIP member, it's $38 a month. We make it as cheap as possible. I figure if someone can buy an evaluation account, they can buy a VIP membership. My goal is not to make money off of you guys, sincerely. That's why I charge super cheap for the VIP memberships. But again, you can join absolutely for free. You don't need to pay for anything. And yes, we do. Can we use it on gold? Yes, you can use it on gold. I traded gold last night. That's what I trade. I trade NQ and gold. Kind of like gold here for higher. Change day delivery. We got buyers in this area that are holding price. These sellers failed. Let's see what we're looking like on the higher time frame, though. Yeah, this is where buyers need to be stepping in right around here. 15-minute chart. We're going to have a little bit of resistance here at those 976s, though. So we are a little late to this, but a buy in this area would have been a nice area to try to get long in. And the 973s would have been really nice. And look at this, guys, the hourly. Look at the hourly, how you have, there's no other bubbles here, okay? No other bubbles here on the hourly, but you have this pretty big bubble here, which means that this area is just filled with a lot of buyers, okay? This whole area here has a lot of buyers in it. And you can see the defended price when it retapped into that area. So like if you're on an hourly, for example, what you can do is you can mark out this area of buyers and then go down to a 5-minute. Okay. And so you would wait for a 5-minute inversion. That's how you would use ICT, from the 1 hour to the 5-minute, right? So here's a 5-minute bearish gap. If we close above this, right, you could then use this to go higher. Okay. So now you have an area where buyers, they're present. You're going from the 1 hour to the 5-minute because those are correlated time frames, and you use a 5-minute inversion for value gap for price to hold. And there we go. We just inverse that for value gap. So if you wanted to, you could look for a retap of it, and then you can do like a 1-to-1, or just go for the highs here, for example. That's how you would take this trade. I'm not going to take it. because I like the idea of getting in down here. But this is still a very valid ICT trade using the hourly, the 5 minute, and the order flow. I mean, the order flow is so fucking good that you can see that right where that green bubble was on the hourly time frame. I mean, the bodies of these candles, they don't really get below that order, right? Like, look at the 1 hour. Look at where the buyers are sitting. They're sitting right here, right? And look at the bodies of those candles. They don't get below that. Like, they just get, like, they get eaten up by those, absorbed by those buyers. Yeah, it does. Looks very bullish. Do you own crypto? Chara says. I do own crypto. I own Ethereum and I own some Bitcoin. Lucky Star says, or Lovely says, can we use on gold? Yeah, I already answered that question. Lucky says 1 hour looks bullish. Yes. Chara says, question, does the second entry pullback or second chance have a more higher chance of failing? A pullback into a 5 minute gap does not have more of a chance of failing. It actually has a really good chance of holding if you're looking at gold. So we'll go look at this, right? So this right here, you can't really enter this. If you're trading the 1 hour and the 5 minute, like let's say your bias is, I'm going to make this purple because it was an inversion. Whoops. Let's say that you're, look at that. Look at how the buyers just respected, just took out the, as soon as we tapped right into that 5 minute gap, look at how we're pushing here, guys. This is what I'm talking about. So if you're using, it depends on how you're trading, right? But if you're using an hourly chart and you're looking at the bubbles on an hourly chart, like here we know there was a lot of selling, right? So here we know on the hourly chart, a lot of sellers. The second that we get above that selling area on the hourly chart, you could then jump to a 5 minute and look for ways to get in for a long position, right? But you're going to use the 5 minute because you're looking at the hourly for entry, for bias, okay? So right now we know that there are buyers here on the hourly. So I need to go to the 5 minute because I'm using the hourly for my bias. So if I go to the 5 minute, like I said earlier, you have an inversion fair value gap. This is what you want to see. You want to see a nice strong close through an inversion fair value gap. And what makes this even better, and I'm going to show you guys how this looks great. You see this 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candles. Those are the 3 candles that create your fair value gap. Well, guess what? It only took 1 candle to close through that fair value gap that takes 3 candles to create. That is extremely bullish, guys. Extremely bullish. I call that the 4 candle fair value gap reversal, right? 3 candles to make it, and if 1 candle can close through that gap, very bullish. You know that the buyers are on your side. We already knew they were on our side because we had order flow to tell us they're on our side. But now we have ICT to tell us that they're also still on our side and that this looks really good for the upside. Now, you have to wait to answer your question here. You have to wait for that 5 minute gap to get closed through before you can create a trade, before you can get into the trade, right? You can't just take it here or here or here because you don't know if we're going to inverse the gap. And so you need that inversion to take place for you to want to get long, essentially, okay? And so what you're going to do is as soon as that inversion occurs, you don't just mark it in or do anything like that. You're still going to be pretty smart about how you do things. What you're going to do is you're going to just make sure that you put your entry, okay, right at the entry of that gap so that when we come back and retest it, you can take a long trade off of it, for example. Now, some people put their stop at the low, and some people would just put it right below the fair value gap. It just depends on what you're willing to risk and how you feel comfortable with it. I always say the low is the better area to put it. But in this case, I would actually go to the 1 hour, and I would look at where those buyers are, right? Which we know they're right around this area here. They stepped in very aggressively. And I would just make sure that I'm using the bottom of that as my stop. Because if they defended this area here, they're going to defend it again once we come back. So I don't have to actually put my stop at the low. Instead of putting it all the way down here, I can just put it below where I know those buyers are. Right? And that gives me a better risk reward here on this trade. So that's how I would be trading gold right now. Again, since I trade mostly the 1 minute and the 5 minute, the 1 minute and 15 minute, I would be looking for, I would be getting in a lot earlier. My entry would have been somewhere around here, guys, is where I would have been in long. And this 5-minute inversion, I would have added into that position. I could have added more contracts here, right? And then that add, now I'm moving my stops to here because there's buyers that were able to get past all that selling right here. So now I'm moving my stop here. I'm in here as well, and I'm having a better average here, and now we're pumping to the upside. So that's how I would have traded that, and that is A+ as hell. As you guys can see, there goes gold just flying away to the abyss. All based on a little bit of strategy that I'm explaining to you guys. Cherry says this type of execution is after the PO3. Well, now we're on gold. So now I'm not looking at the PO3 right now, right? I'm looking at just where gold is currently. If we look at the PO3 on gold, let's see. You don't have a PO3 on gold. That 4-hour candle open and just completely shot up. So there's no real PO3 that I could trade currently. If I was here at 10 a.m., I may have been able to find something. If we go to the 1-minute chart, if we go to 10 a.m., here you go. So here's your 10. Yeah, this is exactly. So this is it basically. This is exactly your PO3. So you have your accumulation that starts at 10 a.m. or right before 10 a.m., right before the candle opens, or when the candle opens. So here's 9:45, right? Here's your. This is basically your accumulation. This is your manipulation, right here. And why is that manipulation? It's a very tiny manipulation, but why is it manipulation? I'll explain to you guys very simply why it is. And this is your distribution higher, which currently went to there. So we're just going to do this as your distribution, okay? So how do I know this is manipulation, guys? Well, very simple. What did I say? You want to take liquidity. So we took this low after the open of the candle and we accumulated a bunch. We took this low, okay? And then what else happened here? This candle low taps into a 15-minute fair value gap. 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, those are all higher time frame gaps. So when you manipulate liquidity into a higher time frame gap, that's your manipulation, and you want to see a tap into a higher time frame gap, whether it's 15-minute, hourly, 4 hour, whatever it is that you're looking for, but some sort of gap that we can tap into on a manipulation. That's what you see here. So when that occurs and we tap into that 15-minute, if you don't just want to go and buy it, you can wait for a change of state of delivery, which happens right here. This is your first CISD. Those two down, that set of down candles there. Once we get above it, that's your change of state of delivery on the 1 minute. Okay. And now what you're looking for is price to come back and retest that change of state of delivery, which happens right here. And you're going to basically look for a long position on that change of state of delivery with a stop. You can either go to the low or right below this area of selling that was absorbed by buyers. As you know that there's obviously a ton of buyers here. And then you could target, you know, all-time highs, whatever it is that you're targeting, okay? But the reality is this is how you would trade this. There's one more way to trade it, but it's very defensively. You're trading it very defensively. It means that you're just being very picky about how you want to get in. So you know there's a change state delivery here, and you know this candle manipulated. So you could do is wait for a tap of the order block, which is the first candle is the candle that creates the order block. So this is your order block here. The problem is a lot of times your order block doesn't get tested and you miss out on this trade. So this is how you would trade gold at the PO3 on gold, okay? Hopefully that breakdown makes sense. This is going to be a really educational, this is going to be an extremely educational video, this live stream. I hope you guys are learning, and hope you guys are enjoying what I'm talking about, because I don't always talk a ton about ICT technicals and all this stuff during the lives. It's mostly trading, but I'm okay with this. We're sitting at the top of this range here, right? We're sitting at the top of this 1 minute range here, and I don't see any opportunities so far. I'm not a range. I don't like to get breakouts, so I would not be looking for a long here, even though I think that most likely this does continue higher. I'm just not looking for those longs right now. Again, I want to be a buyer inside of discount, which is somewhere in this area here. And I am kicking myself because I don't know if you guys were here or not, but oh, Cheris, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the kind comment. But yeah, pretty simple is one of the things I want to say is I'm kicking myself because I got the long here, guys. That was my long trade. It ended up pushing in my direction and ended up pulling back, and I ended up getting out for like $40 because I was anticipating a push into this here for that move higher. And sadly, I never got that entry. And now price is so far gone. It's heartbreaking to witness. But it feels good to know that you know what you're doing, right? When you can anticipate what price is going to do and then it does it, that is a beautiful feeling that not a lot of people are ever going to have. So I don't take it lightly. Even though I did not make much money on that trade, I am still very happy with the outcome of today's session so far. And again, I know that I'll be back at 1 p.m. for the PM session. And a lot of times when price moves kind of like this, where we're just kind of ranging, the afternoon session can sometimes be that session where price really starts to push. And look at those buyers, guys, piling into this move. They're piling into this move as we break out of here. I still don't understand why buyers love to do breakout trades, but they do. They're probably going to hit a bit of a wall here. Most likely going to hit a bit of a wall here. In this area here. A lot of sellers sold the hell out of this right here. So they may hit a wall right up here. I'm on the come up and deserve more. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, for sure. I do appreciate that. I'm just out here trying to make that money, man. We're out here trying to get them payouts, and we're out here trying to help people learn what we're doing and share the journey, right? I think life is about sharing, so I'm happy to share with you guys. And I live stream on YouTube because I want to grow as a streamer and trader, right? I could easily just close it off to only stream live on Discord, make people pay for it, but I don't want to do that. I want to stream for free on YouTube and just grow my following like that. If people like what I'm doing and they want to be in the master classes and the weekly focus group stuff like that I do, then they can pay the $38. But if they just want to watch me for free, they are more than welcome to come and watch me for free. A lot of buying here. A lot of buying. I want to see what happens here if sellers can hold that. But there's a lot of buying here. Oh yeah, this is a very big area of resistance here. Not only is it the consequent encroachment or the midpoint of the 4-hour wick, it's also that area that I marked out, right? Of a lot of selling pressure. So, you know, when you see a lot of buying like this, when you see this kind of buying, there's a lot of buying, guys. And you start to see this move come lower here like this, just tells you like maybe those buyers aren't ready to really fight these sellers here. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, we got 11 minutes here before we close the stream for the day. I mean, not for the day, but for the morning session. And we come back for the afternoon session. I'm excited about the afternoon. I think we might see a lot more movement. Even though we've been seeing some nice movement today, I just feel like I sadly kind of missed out on the opportunity to get that long. All right, these buyers are absorbing these sellers. Look at these sellers. They tried to come in and they got completely squeezed here. This is pushing. This is going to continue to push here, guys. Second that we get above this area here, this thing could squeeze out all these sellers here and really push this to the upside here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get this nice push into this New York AM range high. I just don't love the time. 1150. Don't love the time. And I'm not a breakout trader, so I won't be trying to take this long. But I do love to see the amount of buying that you have happening here. And I mean, in the last 15-minute candles, here's buying and here's buying. We have seen no real selling here since that low was taken, which makes sense, right? 4-hour PO3, super clean trade to the upside here. Again, kicking myself that I'm not in this long, but I'm glad that I did take a long and tried to take a trade off of it. By the way, guys, where did you find me? Did you find me here on YouTube? I'm assuming you guys just found me on YouTube, right? Randomly found me on YouTube. Buying is increasing here. Look at that. Here's that push right through this area of selling pressure. So what you're seeing here, guys, is a lot of the sellers that got in short here, okay, they're break even. And so they're having to buy their positions back, right? So you're seeing accumulation of buying that took place and then sellers having to buy their position back, which pushes price to the upside. So so all this that we're seeing here, I'm not surprised by it. It's also that key level of 25,200 psych level. So buyers are going to pile into this to try to continue to push that price above those 200s. So now for me, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. In order for me to want to be short, I need to see price below this. We need to get back below this area. Why? Because look at all the buying that occurred in this move. I need these buyers to get squeezed out of their positions so that we could look to continue lower. If we're going to be short, right? Right now, I'm not short bias anymore. I'm not long bias. I'm just kind of watching to see what price wants to do. But in order for me to get short, I'm just trying to explain to you guys what I would want to see. Let's go ahead and see where the point of control is on this here. So it is right here where I just said. So pull back to that point of control, which is below all that buying pressure. It's kind of funny how I said I want to see us below this, huh? It's exactly point of control. This is where most of the price has traded. The most volume in price occurred here at those 162s, 163s. So again, if we get back below this area, then we can start to look to frame those shorts into this area here. But I am not bearish, so I'm not really looking for that. I'm just looking to see where I can really look for a good deal, whether it's up or down. So, so that's what we're going to end up waiting for. Let's see if I can get rid of this this chart stuff. I don't want it on my charts. There we go. Much better. Very nice push here from these buyers, pushing price straight up into the higher of the New York AM range here. I wouldn't be surprised if we take this high and then just flush right back into this range here. Honestly, really clean and easy trading day. Kicking myself that I did not hold that long, but there will always be more opportunity, so we cannot be upset about it. All right, guys, 3 minutes here till we end the stream, and we will be back. We will be back this afternoon at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Eastern time here in New York City. We'll be back from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That is where my data and my backtesting shows that we do well. So we run the stream from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 3. That is a daily stream time for this entire week. So if you're hanging out with me right now, and I do shut the stream off, you're more than welcome to join back again. This morning's stream has been really great. A lot of education here. I just want to remind everybody here that this is not financial advice and that everything I talk about is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I hope you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. And I will be back again at 1. So yeah, appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much. If you're seeing this at a later time, don't forget, support me with a thumbs up. I do appreciate it, as I'm new to YouTube, and that is apparently what helps me grow. So again, guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate all of you. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you this afternoon. Take care. Peace.